Grand finals are soon. The last eval cup before FNCS grand finals, the last major tournament before FNCS grand finals has just concluded, and we got to see a lot of different things today, including the first time that Peterbot has gotten a fully uncontested Brutal Boxcars in a set lobby finals. How did he actually perform with it? Is MrSavage officially fully uncontested in grand finals, and so much more. Real close to the video starts though, please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. Remember to come back to this channel or follow me on my Twitch if you guys want to watch FNCS grand finals with me. Without further ado though, we got a lot to go over in today's video. Let's actually get it started with a tweet from Fortnite Competitive. So if you guys have been keeping up to date over these past couple of days, basically there's supposed to be a live event on day one of grand finals, and like Demon's Domain was supposed to be getting completely destroyed and everything, and people were very confused on what that actually meant for the loot that was at the POI, if the mythic was still going to be there, and a lot of different things as well. And pretty much Fortnite Competitive today just tweeted out any map changes that take place during the Super Showdown story event will not impact FNCS. The only update is at Diego's location. So obviously everybody in the comments of this was telling Peterbot that he has to go back, because he did say himself that if the loot is going to stay the same at Demon's Domain and it doesn't get destroyed, he's gonna go back to the POI. But as of right now, in this very current moment, it doesn't look like he has any real intentions of wanting to do that, and he is staying at Brutal Boxcars. And I mean, to be honest, I don't really blame him. We know it is Pollo's domain at the end of the day, and also he is going to have such a higher chance to be able to compete for an FNCS win from Brutal Boxcars compared to if he is contesting Pollo off spawn at Demon's Domain. Will it hurt his off spawn rep? Maybe, probably. Who really cares at the end of the day? His off spawn rep has already taken a hit anyways. There's not really much he could do to get it out of the spot that it is currently at, and he would rather compete for an FNCS win than try to improve his off spawn rep when he already knows he's most likely going to get contested at globals either way. Let's actually move on to the tournament now. Quickly go over the opens, everybody that was able to qualify, then go way more in depth for the finals. So in first place we had the trio of Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts. Now they finished with 396 points, won 3 out of their 6 matches, and got the most elims and opens with 138. This trio is really still trying to make a real debate for why people should not be counting them out and why they can still potentially be an FNCS winning trio. Second place is actually one of the main trios, probably the main trio that we're gonna have to keep an eye out for in the last chance qualifiers of Mush, Shadow, and Sphinx on 330. Third place was one of our grand finals qualified teams of Donnie, Joji, and Seek. Fourth place was Mason Golden and Chimp, another grand finals quad team. Fifth place is King. Sixth place is Adrius, Acorn, and Pollo. This is also going to be their first set lobby finals with a fully uncontested Demon's Domain. Seventh place is Clixiamzo and Higgs. Eighth place is Skittles. Ninth place is Noah W Plays, and then rounding out the top 10 is Noxy, Ozone, and Veer on 286. So some of the big names that we had just outside that top 10 that were still able to qualify is like 11th place of Aviv, G Money, and Rise. Now this is going to be their first tournament at a fully uncontested Outpost Enclave, because Curve, Josh, and Tyler are now going to be contesting Flooded Frogs. 13th place was Ritual Code and Peterbot on 280. Phaser King and PH Zen finished in 21st. Recooper and Curly in 23rd. One of our West Grand Finals qualifiers in 28th place of Phoenix, Thoric, and Miro on 242. Yes, if you guys missed it, Miro has officially qualified for NA West Grand Finals, and this is now back-to-back Evo Cup finals that he has made on Central as well. So looking pretty good for this trio. And that was about it for all of the big names inside of the top 33. The main trios that we had not able to qualify today was like 41st place of Blake, Oliver OG, and Diego Plays. Missing out on yet another Eval Cup in 63rd place of Visuals, Braids, and Aminished. I still don't necessarily know where in the world I want to predict these guys to actually finish in grand finals, because they looked very solid in their groups, but pretty much in a lot of the other tournaments from this season, they really just haven't looked that good. Curve, Josh, and Tyler were also not able to qualify in 73rd place. And then probably the biggest trio that was not able to qualify is 98th place of Booga, Threats, and Craze. They only got a total of 182 points today in 6 total matches. Like I always say for Eval Cups, they really don't matter that much. Of course, you want to get as much practice as you possibly can before grand finals, but at the end of the day, you can always make the excuse that it's just an Eval Cup. Let's actually move on to how the finals went now though. Now, if you didn't like the finals of the Eval Cup today, you simply just don't like Fortnite competitive. I was literally at the edge of my seat watching half of these games today. Grand finals is going to be so entertaining, I can't even express it in words. The trio that was able to finish in first place of the Eval Cup was Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts. They were able to start off the tournament with a bang, getting an 8 elimination win. And this trio also finished with the second most elims in this tournament as well. Now, there is a little bit of a Mickey Mouse item, you could say, with the Shockwave pistol currently being in competitive. An item that quite literally, you shoot it and it can shockwave somebody off of high ground. And we don't have any 100% confirmation on whether or not this item is actually going to be sticking all the way until grand finals or not. We've already seen a couple of different pros complain about it on Twitter, but still, either way, this trio is showing that they have the capabilities to be able to keep up with the elims of the top trios on NA. They showed in this lobby right here that they can get high ground in a lobby that has all of the best teams in it. I really wouldn't blame you at all if you still wanted to potentially say that this could be a grand finals winning team. And oh yeah, I didn't even talk about it. The loot that this team is currently getting at Crime City, oh my goodness, it is so amazing. Second place, we had the trio of Adris, Acorn, and Poyo in their first fully uncontested Demon's Domain. Well, besides the first game where they were contested by just a completely random trio that we'll talk about in a little bit, that trio ended up landing on Poyo, Peter twice, and Clicks once. And they did not spawn to them in the first game because Poyo and Adris literally weren't even at the drop spot, and Acorn was forced to 1v3 and they ended up dying. So just completely don't count that game at all. So their 3-game match history was a 12 elimination win, 7 elimination 7th, and an 11 elimination 4th. Now, if Demon's Domain is going to be exactly what Fortnite Competitive in their tweet has said it is going to be, I still am currently leaning towards this trio to be my grand finals winning prediction. Third place was definitely our most underrated team to get a win today of Xenon, Vorx, and Freeze. They got a 12 elimination win in game 3 today. They also finished with 28 total elims as well, and 24 of those elims were throughout a 2-game stretch. So I mean, hey, huge shout out to this trio. And then the last team that was able to get a win, getting a 9 elimination win in game number 4, was actually the Brazilian goats of Phaser, King, and PH Zen. Last week they ended up losing to a bug. This week though, no bugs at all. We even saw them win a 3v3 mid-game engagement versus Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, and then in the very final game they were finally able to get their first Eval Cup win on NA. Honestly, just really happy for this team in general. This is another trio that I feel like has the highest fluctuation for where you could actually predict them in grand finals. I have seen some people put them as high as top 5 in grands, and I've also seen some people put them as low as around that 8th place range. I know I've been hyping it up a lot, but this grand finals is actually going to be absolute cinema. Moving on with the rest of the leaderboard, the trio that was able to get the most elims in this tournament, as expected, in 5th place is Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot. They were not able to win any games today, but finished with 35 total elims. And their match history today was a 14 elimination 3rd, a 5 elimination 26th, which was the game that they actually died to King, and then they got a 7 elimination 3rd and a 9 elimination 2nd. I think this match history is very sustainable for a type of lobby like a grand finals, especially. They weren't even necessarily playing like over aggressive or anything like that. They were sticking to their game plan, building up, getting max surge in the mid game. Them being able to be center map is going to be so huge for their storm surge possibilities. And then in the end games, they're able to just play to their full potential, absolutely frag out, and we were able to see that even though they weren't able to get any wins. I want to show this clip of this team that was literally just griefing all of the big name trios today, and let's just say this team was very excited after they were able to eliminate Peter, but then went on to get 1v3'd by Cold.
Not gonna party, gonna 1v3 on us, hello?
Oh my god. People Cold's coming, Cold's coming, Cold's coming, Cold's coming.
Give me the shotgun, give me the shotgun, Ethan. Give me the shotgun.
Take.
Oh, 100? No, 30.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No.
That's 6th place. I've actually seen one of the trios that has people the most concerned about them, and that is the team of Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs. Now, believe it or not, for a team that went from eval merchants to most people, this season, they were only able to win 2 total Eval Cup games. Their match history from today was a 7 elimination 6th, 5 elimination 13th, 12 elimination 2nd, and a 7 elimination 11th. So it's not like they weren't necessarily close to winning or anything like that. In the very final game, I think they did just make a full psycho hype play to see if they could potentially be a high ground trio. And let's just say it didn't necessarily go the best for them at all. I just think this team is such a mid to low ground layer team, and them going for height is not necessarily something that they're probably going to do in grand finals. They still though were able to finish with the 3rd most elims in this entire tournament. I think this is still a top 3 team on the region for me. It's just going to depend on where I actually want to put them in that top 3. I just feel like the entire top 3 right now is so interchangeable, and with no major tournaments until grands, this is going to be so hard to predict. 7th place was Void Broken in King, 8th place was Donnie Joji in Rebels, 9th place was Mud Shadow in Sphinx. Now this team actually did have to fight off spawn today, but in the games that they were able to make it off spawn, they did get a 5 elimination 2nd, so that could potentially be a positive sign for their hopes of winning a game in the last chance qualifiers. And then running out the top 10 was another team that was fighting off spawn versus Reach trio of Skittles, Dash, and Bryce. And some of the big names just outside that top 10 was like 13th place of Aviv, G-Money, and Rise. I can't necessarily say I was in love with their performance today at a fully uncontested Outpost Enclave. They only had 1 game inside of the top 10, which was a 1 elimination 4th. And for a trio that is most likely going to be contested by Curve, Josh, and Tyler off spawn in grand finals, I just don't necessarily know if I love their potential right now. If we're wondering where Miro finished, they finished in 22nd place, only had 1 good game today where they got a 7 elimination 4th. And then another trio that I just have no clue what to think about right now is 24th place of Reek, Cooper, and Curly. I think I have to say, if this team is going to be contested in grand finals, I don't really have any high hopes for them at all. But hey man, that was about it for all of the big names. If you're actually curious on what the current grand finals map looks like, this is what we currently have, and that is why I'm a little bit confused on Reek, Cooper, and Curly's decision to go to the resistance base, because that currently leaves the trio of Power, Blue, and Zianda fully uncon at Flooded Frogs. But if you guys watched my video from a couple of days ago, Muzz has already tweeted out that they are going to be landing at Flooded Frogs in grand finals if they're able to qualify through the last chance quals. But pretty much every single big name is fully uncontested, besides the fight that we do have down here between Curve, Josh, and Tyler, and Rise, G-Money, and Aviv. But yeah, as of right now, this is 30 out of 33 teams fully updated for the grand finals map. If you guys want to see the final statistics today, the highest damage ratio was Bolts with a 2.66. Absolute great day from Bolts. Damage to players was also led by Bolts with 5,379. I said if Kanata, Bolts, and Rapid want to win this FNCS, Bolts needs to be the MVP of it, but we also got to give a huge shout out to Kanata, the support player, getting 15 total elims, leading everybody else. The rest of the elim leaderboard was Rapid in 10th, Peterbot in 9th, Ritual in 8th, Acorn in 7th, Bolts in 6th, Vorks in 5th, Higgs in 4th, Cole in 3rd, Clicks in 2nd, so also a huge shout out to Clicks. And then like I said, Kanata in 1st with 15. The most assists was Bolts by a wide margin. Time and Storm was Fishy with 19 minutes and 52 seconds, and then Time Alive was Kanata with an hour and 45 minutes. Kanata's trio is looking really good right now. That's pretty much all for NA though. Let's actually move on to how EU went now. And now in EU, let's just say the finals were a little bit Mickey for the amount of good trios that were in it, but there was still a lot of different, very interesting talking points that I want to make sure that I go over and inform you guys before grand finals actually starts. So let's go over all the teams that are able to qualify. Like first place of Sky Scroll and Thomas HD. This is one of the main trios that I am hoping is able to qualify through the last chance qualifiers into grand finals. I really did think that this team had real top 5, maybe even top 3 potential in grand finals. And now it is just honestly insane that there is a real world where they don't even make grands in general. Second place, a trio that has been looking like they are in a prime position to go back to back, is Venya, Pixie, and Marius on 318. Third place is Rax, Belusi, and Zangi on 302. Now we do have to talk a lot about this trio in a little bit. Fourth place was Pixstar and Demus. Fifth place is Autumn. Sixth place Video Cringe and Volko. Seventh place Vico, Vino, Flixie. Eighth place Snazy, Ites, and Clement. Ninth place was Clown, and then rounding out the top 10 was Siren on 263. So some other big names and like grand qualifying teams that we have in this finals is like 11th place of Loki Sandguild in QB, 14th place of Pink Nebs in Kuro, a trio in 15th place that is also going to have to try to qualify to grands through the last chance quals of Karmbek Shark in Blaha. Akira Kirma and Warx finished in 19th, Focus Mixon and Upwell in 24th, Moneymaker in 25th, Dinas Gross in Frantic in 32nd, and then Artskill Podesai and X Squeeze in 33rd place. So yeah, you probably realized that this Eval Cup Finals is missing a lot of big name trios. Like 41st place of Chap, MrSavage, and Rezon. Alright, now we really gotta talk about this team right here. So now pretty much Zangi, who was the main person contesting MrSavage in grand finals, ended up tweeting out, qualified for the Eval Cup Finals with Rax and Belusi, and he said, bridge for finals and for grands. And then Rax also confirmed that he is also going to be landing at the bridge in grand finals as well. But the reason why this is so confusing to me is because, okay, look, so in the top left right here, we now do see Chat, MrSavage, and Rezon fully uncontested at the resistance base. This is formerly where Rax and all of them used to go, where they were contesting them. And so they are leaving a single contested resistance base to now go and triple contest the bridge that already has Loki, Sandguild, and QB, and Sato's trio as well. And this was also another one of the main drop spot that Shark's trio ended up landing at. So if Shark is able to qualify, then there's a real chance that this spot even becomes quad contested. And that is why a lot of people are saying that this could potentially just be bait, because it doesn't make much sense to leave a single contested drop spot to go and triple contest a bridge split. I really have no clue what Rax's trio is trying to cook up here, but let's just live in a world of hypotheticals, and let's say that this trio is being 100% truthful and they're going to go contest the bridge, and now MrSavage is going to have a fully uncon resistance base. Do I think that they have a chance to be able to qualify for globals now? Yes, I think their chances go up a bunch. Would I personally predict them to be able to? That is a question that I am just not quite sure yet. I feel like this trio really hasn't showed us anything too crazy, and it's mainly because they've been contested in pretty much every single tournament that they have played. But even in their group stage, which was the hardest group that they were able to play, they were just barely able to qualify out of it. And I think pretty much all of us can come to the agreement that grands is going to be harder than that group. So do we think that they can level up their performance even more than what they showed us from that group? I think they personally can, but they still have to show us that they're going to be able to. And I think especially not being able to qualify for this Eval Cup Finals, where they would have had a fully uncontested resistance base, does kind of hurt the main last sort of practice they were going to get before grand finals. I think the other potential outcome that this leads to, though, is Rax's trio is just baiting all along, and he's trying to throw MrSavage, Chap, and Rezon off. He's trying to make MrSavage just not grind off spawn fights anymore, while Rax's trio is just going to be secretly maybe grinding off spawn fights for the resistance base, and they think maybe this is a way that they can get an edge on their trio off spawn, especially if they're able to fully surprise con them. So we're gonna have to see what ends up happening after the last chance qualifiers and everybody that's able to qualify for how the map is looking after that. And then this is also probably a thing that we won't know if MrSavage is really going to be fully uncontested in grands until game 1 of grand finals. Some other big names that were not able to qualify is like iDrop, Hari, and Cammy in 42nd, another trio that is going to have to make their way out of the last chance quals. Swizzy, Queasy, and Murstache in 49th, and then right under them, the team they are cutting off spawn of Pingwalks and Malibuka in 50th, Drulex, Tini, and Skavi in 55th, Prism, Kyria, Casper 56th, Contra, Perdage, and Finnick in 59th, Seti, Yapko, and Panzer, another one of our grands teams, in 78th. Pris, Tayson, and Chicho in 90th. Gino, Pablo, and Ferdoxy, one of our FNCS favorites, finished in 137th place today. They only had 2 total games, even inside of the top 10. And then we also had like Margo, Kaido, and Della in 206th place. If you're wondering though, no, Margo's trio did not split. Kaido said that Haijo is currently just at a wedding, so he was not able to play today. A little unfortunate that they weren't able to get any extra practice together before the last chance quals actually start, but as you can tell from how many big name trios were not able to qualify, I don't think that this was necessarily a like concerning sign, because so many big names weren't able to qualify either. Let's actually move on to how the finals went now though. Now in the finals, we got to see some pretty interesting different winners today. The trio that was in first place though is our French representing team of Akira, Kurama, and Wurex. They're able to win game 1 today, getting an 11 elimination win, and they also had 3 total games inside of the top 10 as well. This is also currently a trio that is fully uncontested in grand finals, and we are definitely going to have to keep an eye out for all of the French players this season because we need some French representation at this year's globals. Second place is Dinas, Gross, and Frantic. They're able to get a 10 elimination win. We're only unfortunately able to play 3 total matches out today, but they have looked super good in their groups, very solid in the recent eval cups as well. The question on everybody's minds now is, can they do it in grand finals? They are currently completely uncontested. Third place was Focus, Mixon, and Uppel. They were able to get a 14 elimination win in game 3 today, which was the highest elim win we were able to see for the entire day. It's looking like they're starting to have some success not landing at the resistance base. This to me is a sneaky potential land qualifying trio, so I'm very excited to see how they're going to look this weekend as well. And then the last team that literally won the very final game today in 4th place was Skyjump, Refsguard, and Momsy with a 9 elimination win. The leaderboard after that obviously just goes by whoever got the most elims, so the trio that actually finished with the most total elims in this entire tournament was Sky Scroll and Thomas HD. They got a 4 elimination 10th, 12 elimination 5th, 9 elimination 9th, and a 2 elimination 15th. Unfortunately, we're not able to win any games today, and we know this team is going to have to do exactly that if they want to be able to book their ticket into the grand finals, but still very confident in this trio. As I was saying earlier, 6th place is another trio they could pretty much say all of the exact same things for, of Combeck, Shark, and Blaha. They were also not able to win any games today, but when it comes down to that last chance quals finals, if this team is not able to win a game, then their season is completely over, and pretty much the rest of their year is probably over as well. Speaking of trios that just had bad luck today for winning games, the team in 7th place of Fido, Cringe, and Noah Riley, just listen to their match history. They got a 5 elimination 7th, 8 elimination 2nd, 6 elimination 6th, and a 4 elimination 3rd. So they had real potential to win 3 out of 4 games today if a couple of things just went their way, but unfortunately, as we know, it did not, and they were not able to win any games, but still a very strong performance from them either way. 8th place was Druxy's trio, 9th place was Venya, Pixie, and Marius. They also had a 9 elimination 2nd and a 3 elimination 3rd. I am so back and forth on who I actually want to make my FNCS Grand Finals winning prediction. Do I want to predict Venya's trio? Do I want to predict Vino's trio? Do I want to predict Ferdoxy's trio? I just don't know right now, and I only have a couple of days left to. And then rounding out the top 10 was Snazy, Ice, and Clement. So we did have a lot of big names outside that top 10, like 11th place of Pickstar Mendemus. They did get a 6 elimination 2nd in the very final game though, but that was pretty much their best game of the day. Video Cringe and Volko in 15th place. They were actually contested off spawn by the trio that is going to be conning them in grand finals, and they ended up going 2-2 off spawn. Pink and Ebs and Kiro finished in 21st. They did still though, however, have 3 games where they're able to place inside of the top 10. I think this is going to be a trio that consistently places inside of the top 10 in grand finals, but I don't know how high I want to predict them because they seem to have like the biggest fluctuation of how many elims they actually get, because this is a trio that is capable of getting 10 plus eliminations in a match, but it's also a trio that can just get like a 2 elimination 7th as well. And then probably our biggest name trio that placed the lowest today was 31st place of Vico, Vino, and Flixie. They did have 1 solid game, getting a 2 elimination 4th, but we even saw it from their coach Raz himself. He said playing eval for money 1 week before grands, pretty much just alluding to the fact that this trio is more just practicing strats for grand finals instead of actually trying to perform to their highest ability in this eval cup, which I think is honestly completely valid. They were also surge trading for the first time that I feel like I have ever really seen all 3 of them sit up in a surge base and trade with other teams. So they're trying to fully adapt to the meta now going into grand finals, and I think this team will be just fine no matter how bad they ended up placing today. And then also the trio we had in dead last place, landing at the bridge split for the first time in a set lobby finals, was Rax, Belusi, and Zangi. So not necessarily the most promising sign for this trio, and if I was a MrSavage fan, I might be a little bit worried that they might want to come back to the resistance base now. Let's move on to the final statistics now though. The highest damage ratio was Kurama with a 2.45. Most damage to players was Fido with 7,253. So honestly a lot higher up than the next closest person, who was Akira with 5,100 161. Reading off the top 10 for elims, in 10th place we had Doom, 9th place we had Ziffy, 8th place was Marius, 7th was Fido, 6th was Combeck, 5th was Shark, 4th was Sky, 3rd was Scroll, 2nd was Akira, and then in 1st place with 12 total elims we had Druxy. The most assists was Pixie, 2nd was Marius, Time and Storm was Melker with 25 minutes and 36 seconds, and then Time Alive was Vanya with an hour and 43 minutes alive. Other than that though, as I said earlier, this is officially the last eval cup of the season. I can't believe the next major tournament we are going to have is already grand finals, and then just like that we are into the next season. If you guys are watching this video, make sure you guys stop by my Twitter because I should have asked for your guys' grand finals hot takes, and if you made it all the way to the end of the video, spoiler alert, that is the video that is coming out tomorrow, so make sure you guys just stay tuned for that. Remember though, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. If you guys only watch the tournament videos and you're not going to be back till grand finals, make sure you just show up here on the day of grands or follow me on my Twitch. So if you guys want to watch grand finals with me, thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.